Most people think that making money on YouTube is a game of getting views and luck, but it's not. What you actually need is a simple step-by-step system that turns your viewers into buyers without you needing millions of views. So in this deep dive, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So you're probably thinking to yourself, will this actually work for me? Well, what I'm about to show you is pretty much all I've done for the last 12 to 18 months. And I'm kind of obsessed over doing it. And what's happening is it's starting to kind of give exponential results now. So I'll show you inside my Stripe. This is the first 2 months of 2025. It's generated $800,000 in cash. It's actually a bit more than that because I have wire transfers too. Now I don't run ads. I don't do anything other than kind of what I'm about to show you. And the profit margins are 75%. So I think this is one of the best ways to grow a business via YouTube, bar none. But also, it's not just working for me. Have a quick look at this clip.
I did it in your style of showing the client result. I was like, and then it was just like over the next week, calls, clients. I was like, holy shit, what is this? This is awesome.
That's great. Good job. I'm not saying this is what happens to everyone. You do need certain things in line before it will blow up in this way. And they're going to become crystal clear as I walk you through this process. So let me walk you through the strategy that we're going to use. Now, the traditional thing that you will see online, which I don't really like, is people are going to say you need multiple streams of income. And although there's maybe an element of truth to that, the problem with it is this: you get told to build a low ticket, a mid ticket, a high ticket, another low ticket, an upsell, a downsell, a cross sell. And it's basically like saying, if I want my car to go faster, I'll just put 5 more engines on it. If you put 5 engines in a car, you need a new gearbox, new tires, reinforcement, a new chassis. Whereas if you just have one engine and you look at it and go, how can we make it faster? Let's just put a turbo on it. Okay, cool, that worked. It's much easier. So this system for me is just about having kind of a really simple process to get viewers to turn to buyers that actually works. And the way I think of it is not a funnel. It's more like this circle. So this is what I'm going to show you to do today. And all you need to do to turn a viewer into a buyer is get them through these 4 stages. Now, the cool thing about this is once you've got them through all 4, it then speeds up results. So the first time you do it, you might find results are slow, but the 10th time you've done it, that's when you start to see exponential gains like my business is currently going through right now. So let's look at the 4 things that you need to turn viewers into buyers right now. And we'll start with the first. So the first is really easy. It's just your channel. And all you have to do is build a channel that warms your audience up. That's the first thing. And let me show you why that's kind of important. So you will be told online that you need to make videos for search and that's how you grow your business. The problem is people don't watch one video from search and then buy your thing. It doesn't work like that. People need to watch multiple videos over and over again. So the strategy I teach is about getting people to binge one video after another. And you can see from the circle, the line starts off blue and gradually gets hotter. And that's what producing content that people keep coming back to your channel to watch and binge watch your videos one after the other will do. And it's what turns viewers into buyers. You will not turn a viewer into a buyer making them watch one video. And the other important thing on that is that you position your channel so that it solves a very specific problem and every video keeps bringing people back. So let me give you an example of this. This is Daniel. He's smashing it. This video here did him 6 figures, but his channel is about helping music producers make money online. Now, what a lot of people would do is they would start making tutorials on using music software or how to play an instrument and then mix it up. But that's not what we want to do. We just want to be targeted on one particular type of person with a particular interest or goal or problem that they have, and then we use our content to solve it. If we can do that, how could anyone not watch one video after the other on this channel? Because they're like, that's the thing I want. That's the thing I want. The moment they come along and go, that's not the thing I want, and that's not the thing I want, and neither is that, we can't warm people up in the way that's really important for this working. Now, the second step to heat people up is to make your content so good people want to buy it, which I've spoken about in the past if you're a regular viewer, but I'll just briefly touch on this. What that means is you cannot expect to just sit in front of a camera and talk to it and grow a channel. You're going to see lots of YouTube creators out there and it looks like they're doing that. But what you're not seeing is the 15 years or the 10 years or the 5 years of experience that got them to a point where they can just riff and talk on camera. So in order to do that well, you need to be an expert. You need to be very experienced in simplifying things. And if that doesn't sound like you, what you have to take seriously here is spending a lot of time on your videos so that they can watch 6 in a row and they really want to keep driving through your channel, because that doesn't work, nothing else I show you does. And then the next step is that you measure correctly. So let me show you this. Most people, when they make a video on YouTube, they come in and they look at this 1 out of 10 and they go, oh, goody, I got a 2 out of 10. It's doing good. Or they go, oh, I got a 10 out of 10 and, this sucks and I'm angry and they're annoyed. The thing is, this thing, it changes every video you make. So you might have a 2 out of 10 now, and your next one might be an 8 out of 10, and then your next might be a 3, and then your next might be a 1, and the next might be a 10. But all you ever put yourself through is looking at how well did one video perform in a few days until the next one replaced it. And it stops you focusing on what really matters. What you should actually be doing is measuring your channel in the correct way as a business, which is simply by establishing how big of a audience do you have. How many people are warmed up? How can we know that? Well, you click on the audience tab here, and what you can see is unique viewers in the last 28 days, return viewers. What we want to do is make sure that return viewers is high. The more return viewers you have, that really is your audience size. So if you think about it, and let's say you're a guitar channel. Most people have been thinking about playing the guitar forever, and then they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy a guitar. And they buy it, and they sit and watch your content, and they do it for a few days, and then they go, I might not do this anymore. And then, they don't come back. So as an educator, as a business, we can't really avoid that. Like, a lot of people are going to flake. Most are going to flake. What we want is the people who don't, and we want to make sure they keep coming back. So the return viewers over the 30-day and the 90-day, that's basically how big your hot audience is based on YouTube. Now, what you'll find is if you're a search-based channel and you've fallen into that trap, you could have 1 million subscribers and 10,000 return viewers, or 1,000 return viewers, because all you do is go looking for new people with search. And that's why building channels and businesses via search is the dumb way to do it. So the strategy we want is bring people back. In fact, I'm more bothered about bringing people back than I am growing. Now, I'm in a different position to you because I've had a following or a personal brand, whatever, for a few years now. So I'm not trying to explode it all the time. But even if you are, if the people don't come back, nothing else I'm going to show you works. So if you look and your return viewers are below, say, 20% of your unique viewers, you need to ask why. Now, a simple reason might be you're not posting a lot. So if you look here, I didn't post for ages. And if you don't post, you don't bring people back. It's as simple as that. But the interesting thing about this is, this period where I didn't post was why my business blew up, because I actually worked on the product and stopped posting to try and make it better and then came back. So those are the metrics I look at. Subscriber count's basically a graveyard of people who were interested in something then quit. So I don't like to use that, and keep that in mind because we're going to go a bit deeper on that in a minute. So that's the first step of this system. Once you have nailed that, this is where you can start to make money quite fast. And you do that in the second step, which is the offer. What's an offer? Well, an offer is basically a product or service that kind of solves a problem that your viewers have. That's it. And ideally, the value of the offer to that person is more than what you charge. So it's your goal at this stage just to make something people actually want to buy because it solves a problem they have. And that's really it. Now, what's really, really important for success here is that your offer is in line with the problem your channel solves. So let's go back to Daniel. The reason Daniel's got a successful business from his YouTube channel is because, look, we land here. He helps music producers make money. Every video is related to helping them grow their business. And then what that means is, if I click on his video, the first link we see here, I click on, it takes into a page, and guess what? It's all about helping music producers make money. If his channel was 50% tutorials on using music production stuff and playing the drums, and then 50% business, well, only 50% of the people who go to his page are going to be relevant, and it's watered down. And this is the ultimate trap I see on YouTube all of the time. So with that in mind, let me show you the difference that an offer makes to the amount of money you can make. This is the secret sauce. Let's just assume you're getting 10,000 return viewers a month when you look in your analytics in a 28-day period. So I'm going to put that in here, and you can download this on the link below. Right, down the left, we have link click percentage. So you see Daniel's link here? He's got his call to action, work with us to launch or scale your production career, which is super in line with the video. So his click percentage is going to go up as a result of that. And what I've found from tracking my own data is, you can see here, 12% of people who watch my video clicked on the link below it. Now that's very high. But what I've based this sheet on is going up to 8%, which was kind of like I've hit quite a few times. But what we want is as many clicks on our links as possible. because if viewers are clicking, it means they're interested in something, and that's how we turn them into buyers. Then at the top here, we have sales page conversions. So when they click a link, so they go to Daniel's page, this is basically the percentage of people who turn from visitors into buyers. What I tend to see on YouTube is 0.5% and 0.5%. So what that means is 10,000 return viewers a month will give that person 0.25 sales, which means they have to post for 4 months to generate 1. Now, what we want is more like, I'm going to keep this quite conservative, 3% link clicks, 3% conversion. So warm traffic from YouTube will convert at that. So we can look and say, right, those 100,000 views turn into 9 clients. Now, the sad thing is, if we 10x your views and you sit there going, I need more views, I need more views, I need more views, and your marketing doesn't work, you still don't get 9 clients. So these numbers are signs that your offer is appealing. And if it's not, we can't turn viewers into buyers. Now, before I show you kind of how to work out an offer, let me just answer a question you've probably got. Why would people want to buy my stuff if my information is free on YouTube? And it's pretty much as simple as this. If you said to a child, just learn what you like today, do whatever you like at school, they're just going to spend the day finger painting. They're not going to sit there and crack open the maths book and start learning Pythagoras theorem, are they? Because it's boring. It's not really that interesting. It's probably not something they're that passionate about. This is how YouTube works. I've been teaching YouTube for years, so I know it's how it works. YouTube's just about putting things in front of people they click on. And they often don't click on the thing they need, just the thing they want. So they sit there watching videos about things that aren't necessarily optimum for them wherever they are in their own position. So free content, as fantastic as it is, often causes a lot of damage. I'm constantly having people come into my program thinking that they have to use search terms and this awful outdated strategy. It doesn't work. And I kind of have to undo that because it's what they've learned for free online. Some of them have paid for it. So free content's optimized for attention, not the thing you need at that exact point to get you the best result. So don't worry about that because, as you'll find out in a sec, the offer solves it. So how do you come up with an amazing offer? Well, Hormozi has a formula for it, which is it's the dream outcome your viewer wants, times by the likelihood of them achieving it, divided by the time delay of them getting it, and then the effort and sacrifice to get there. Now, this is really good, and I'd recommend his book. But I still look at it, my little pea brain goes, that's a lot to take on. So if I was going to really simplify it, just make something that solves the problem they have faster and easier than if they did it on their own. And then do it in a way where they look at your marketing and go, I believe that this person can help me. That's kind of it. Now, the trap people fall into is they often look and go, I need a big offer. I need 10,000 hours of video learning and a 90-day program. But actually, what we find is that can have the opposite effect. Recently, I was working with a client who came to the conclusion that their 8-week program was putting people off because they only wanted to do 5 minutes a day to get the result. So we're restructuring his offer based on that. And it's actually very common seeing longer, bigger offers do worse when they're packaged up in a way that makes it sound like the person has to do a lot of work over a long period of time, right? Because people want fast, quick results. So what you do is you work out the best offer to make for your viewers that gets them the result in the quickest, fastest time. Now that could be a book, it could be a workshop, it could be a course, it could be a program, it could be one-to-one coaching. There's lots of different options. So which one do you pick? Well, you just pick the one your audience wants. And in order to do that, you just ask them. Sounds easy, this, right? But it kind of is. So I get my clients to call them, put out a survey and say, can we speak to you? And my clients that speak to their viewers always say the same thing. I can't believe how much I learned. That's going to make my channel better. And I now know what to make. Because what you'll see is if you speak to enough people, it's the same pattern over and over again. And this is why I often advise people just start on one-to-one calls. Because I did one-to-one calls for years. And in the end, I was like, they literally just have the same problem. All I talk about is one thing. So I built something else to solve it in a better way. So that's the name of the game. We speak to them, we survey them, and we work out what's the thing they care about the most. And then based on that, we look at out of all the options, what's the best format of product to solve it? Now, there is an issue with this. So if we go back to our calculator, if we look at this and go, right, 10,000 return viewers could get me 9 clients with like decent-ish marketing. Well, if my thing's $50, it's not much money, is it? If it's 5,000, well, it's 45,000. So this is why you see a lot of people online talk about, oh, I make so much money from little views. It's because they have an expensive product and they need 9 clients. But that doesn't mean you just go and build the expensive thing straight away. So the trap you need to avoid here is going, I'll build this high ticket program, because many of you are not going to be in a position where you can yet. If you create a program, you really need to be an expert on the topic. You need to know a lot about the problems, like creating content, building systems, and it's a very big thing. So for a lot of people, I just say start simple. And look, you've got the rest of your life to crack this. We're not trying to make 100 grand a month instantly, but start small, start simple. Something like a call, like a 90-minute live workshop that you produce, learn and then build bigger. Because the more you interact with your clients, the more you get to know people, the more it will become obvious. And then once you have this offer, you then work out how to communicate that. And this is where a lot of people get left down. So if we go back to our calculator, we've got this top line here, which is sales page conversions. I think a lot of people I come across are rocking a 0.5. The big bottleneck I see for many of you is your sales page is awful. I'm going to give you some info now on how to turn your offer into a sales page that gets people over the line from viewer to buyer. But really, the goal of your sales page is you need to make people get to the bottom and go, I want this, and my gosh, it feels cheap. But there's a big trap you need to avoid here. So a lot of people have the attitude, well, nobody reads anymore. Let's just put a video up. And then some put the attitude of, we need a really long page. So what do you do? And the way I came to the conclusion myself was I broke this down into, well, what are the different buyer types? Because not everyone's the same. And I think there's 4. So now what I'm going to do is break down all 4 of them. And I'm going to tell you how to create a sales page and marketing that appeals to all of them. So at the end, you can have a sales page that gets more conversions. Because remember, this conversion metric is key to getting more sales. Look, in a dream world, if you got 5% and 5%, you get 25 clients a month. That could be a very big difference. So it works like this. The first type of buyer I call the Neanderthal. Now, it's a very mean name, but I called it this because I am a Neanderthal buyer. And they work like this. So I've had a hair transplant. If you look at my older videos, you'll see I was starting to get a bit thin. So one day, I was back home in the UK and I just went, I'm going to book a hair transplant. So I went on Google, searched a couple. One of them had loads of footballers on the front page, booked a call, had the call. The guy makes me get the phone out and he's like recording the back of my head and the front so he can see, have I got a good donor zone, right? And then he says, yeah, we can do it. And I said, cool, how do I pay? And he was like, well, do you not want to know about how it works? No, I bought there and then. So one, this is an operation that's not cheap. But that's the thing about the Neanderthal. They just buy like that. They make spur of the moment choices that can almost come out of nowhere. They do little to no research. They're kind of swayed by celebrity endorsements, like slogans. They're looking for instant gratification. They just want to buy their problem away there and then. So if you want to sign them up, you need to make sure there's like no friction in the sales process at all. And what that means is, because they'll lose interest. So you know those type form, I don't know if you've ever seen those type forms where you click buy and then it makes you fill out like 15 questions, but it only shows you one at a time. I have never got to the end of one of them because they always turn me off. Firstly, because I can't see how many questions they are, so it stresses me out. But secondly, I want to fill out 20 questions. So I'm gone. I never fill them out. So we need to work out, okay, how do we reduce friction and how do we speed it up so that we can get them in quick? Now, it's not always possible to have a buy now button, but if it is, these guys are good. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of people say to me, shouldn't I put people through a giant email nurture campaign and give them like a 30-day free course to turn them into a buyer? And I'm like, well, no, because people like me don't want that. I just want to buy the thing. I want to watch your video and buy it straight away. So we want to think about not stopping those people. And what I find really interesting is a very large percentage of the most successful people I know are Neanderthals. Now, the downside to these guys, they often don't read instructions. Often they forget what they've bought, so they can be tough to work with. They're also, once they come into a program, they ignore like all the instructions, try it their own way, and can cause a bit of a headache in that sense. But the upside is they often don't complain, and they blame themselves when they realize they haven't read anything. So how do you appeal to them? We need to create some urgency that makes them go, I need to get this thing now, which is kind of what they want. So like when you have a limited time offer, or you only have a certain amount of people you can let in, or a sale, or low stock, that's what gets them over the line. You want to make sure like there's as little friction in the buying process. Like do not make them go through a 5-day email course before you sell to them. Give them an option to buy straight away. Use images. So if I go on a sales page, I read the headline, I look at the pictures, and then I buy, and that's it. So big images, results-based ones, like if you're doing weight loss before and after, doing muscle gain before and after, if you're doing following growth or business growth, graphs and things pointing up. And you need to highlight instant benefits. So it needs to make it feel like they're going to get quick results because that's what they want. The next type of buyer, I call the nerd. I've given all these guys really nice names. By the way, let me know which one you are in the comments. It'd be really interesting to see if we can see a pattern of the type of people that watch my channel. So these guys are often very logic driven and very detailed audience and very methodical. And they love researching and they love comparing and they love reading reviews and trying to understand every feature. And they always have this goal, like they have to make the best decision. You might be thinking of someone as I say this, but it could be like a sponge. They could be like, yeah, I know it's only 50 cents, but what's the best sponge I can get? Now, their objections and concerns are they don't like vague claims. So for example, if you have a headline that says life-changing, they're like, well, how? What we need to do is make sure we have very specific results, like lose 13 pounds in 3 days. They also want a lot of evidence that this works. They hate pressure. If you have one of them countdown things on your site going, there's only 3 days left, they're going to probably go. They also absolutely hate urgency tactics, and they'll object. They'll have like detailed questions and they need a lot of clarity and they need a lot of proof. And the downside is they can make a hell of a long time to make a decision. But the upside is these people often can make really good clients, especially if you have like a program that they often just do exactly what you tell them to do because they're very meticulous. So how do you sell to them? Well, lots of data, lots of proof on your sales page, lots of details, case studies, reviews, like an ROI calculator, things they can play with. And you really just want to be logical, be honest, be clear, avoid exaggeration, which is the opposite of what you see a lot of the time on sales pages. And if you have like a sales process where you talk to them, just be patient and answer their questions. The next type of buyer is I call the hippie. So these guys base on feelings and personal connection and brand loyalty. And they're attracted to storytelling like way more than the other guys, but they also like shared values with the personal brand that they're maybe going to buy from. And they buy things to make themselves kind of feel happy and it becomes part of their identity. But they won't buy if it doesn't feel right. So if we go on their page and they're like, it doesn't feel right to me, they're gone. And they really want to feel trust and connection, which is what's really fantastic about authentic YouTube content. Like I never hide from the shit that happens in my life that makes it hard because it's authentic. But I think this sort of person really resonates with that and they appreciate it too. So they won't be put off by price. They'll be put off more by a lack of authenticity in your message. But they can be a bit unpredictable. But I would say the upside is they'll stick with you once they've warmed to you and they 100% bought in. They'll become good clients. Now, in terms of how to sell to them, storytelling plays a really big part. Customer success stories, mission-based stories, personal experiences that align with their values, and emotional language and emotional imagery. This stuff really gets them. And then we have the job's worth. These guys are tough. So they are like insanely hard to convince, overly cautious. They distrust everyone. And it's mainly because they've been burned by something bad that happened in the past. So people can become one of these later in their life. They'll question everything. They'll fact check claims. They'll look for hidden catches. They'll be like, no, you said this and maybe you meant this. And they want a flipping case study that shows the exact same person they are getting a result. So they could be a vet in Mongolia with one arm. And they'll say, I want a case study of a vet in Mongolia with one arm. Otherwise, I don't believe this works for me. So I said they're tough, right? Their biggest objections and concerns are being misled or scammed because, like I said, they've been burnt before. And they're very hard to win over. That's the downside. And they can be exhausting to deal with. And they can come across as rude or offensive asking you so many questions. It's not. It's just that they've been burnt. Upside, I've found that these people, once they're over the initial hump, refer you like crazy because they're so happy they found someone they trust and like. So they're worth putting up with all the crap. So how do you sell to them? Back up every claim, use hard data, reviews, case studies, show trust signals like money back guarantees, security badges, certifications, anything you got. Offer like a risk-free trial if you can. And if you can do that, they're going to be a lot more warmed up. So you've got a couple of options here. You might look at this and go, well, do I just appeal to one of them or all of them? And for me, I don't want to appeal to just one of them. Why would I slash my market by such a huge percentage? I want to appeal to all of them. So that's why I like, if you look at my sales page, we've got headlines, which appeal to the impulse buyers because they're big, they set up results and so on. We've got a video, and that's basically like the entire sales page, but in a video for anyone that maybe doesn't want to read and actually would rather watch. Then we've got proof straight away. Well, that's going to keep all of the types of buyers that want proof. We've then got a story, so that's going to keep the hippies happy because it's more emotional connection. Then we've got more visuals, so the impulse Neanderthals are going to be happy. Then we've got more proof, so the Jobsworths, the nerds, the hippies, the impulse, they're all happy because they want that. We keep going, there's lots of them. And then we've got more details. And if we keep coming down here, oh look, there's more proof. And then even more proof. And then there's more details. So all I do with my sales page really is I didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just try and keep them all happy. And maybe it's not the best sales page in the world, but it's generating me millions, so it can't be bad. In order to appeal to them all, the trend you might have noticed there is that one, they all want to see results. And that brings us on to the next part of the 4-step process. So once we've got people here, this is what gets them over the line. A great offer is fantastic. A good offer is going to help with all the things that I just said that are going to help all of these guys go, yes, I want this. That's what's going to be the game changer. The thing is, you want to get results. And this is where turning viewers into buyers has nothing to do with your free content and everything to do with you building a product with the aim of trying to make it the best in the world. You know, you might only be in a small niche and it might sound like a big claim, but if you have that attitude, I want to have the best X in the world, you will find ways to do it. And in order to do that, you need to get feedback from your clients. Anyone who comes in, you've got to find out what they're struggling with, what they're not, so that you can make changes. And by doing that, you will get more results. And then those results are the thing that are going to help people convert. Which brings us on to step 4, which is a very similar part of this, proof. So proof is taking your results and letting the internet know about them. So it's basically just showing off your results. Now, I mentioned you put them on your sales page, but that's not it. So we want as many as you can get on your sales page, testimonials, videos, case studies, screenshots, graphics, graphs, whatever. But after that, we want them on your social media. So the YouTube community wall, if you look at mine, every week I put out a result. I have a Dropbox with hundreds of them in. I've got no shortage. So I need to let people know I'm not just a guy making money for myself online. I'm the guy getting everyone results. Because to me, it's way more inspiring for people to see newer people or people who aren't in my position doing well than it is seeing someone who's already doing well do even better. So we want to get your social media results. We want to make sure that every single video you make, and this is something I'm massive on and it's played a huge part in my income explosion, and don't worry if this is repetitive, you need to make sure those results appear in your videos. So that would be things like in your introduction, letting people know, you help other people get the result you're about to show them and then putting it on screen, using clients as examples. And you need to make sure that every piece of content proves that your product can get a result without screaming in people's face about it. Like it's not going, buy my thing, buy my thing. It's just using your clients as proof. So that's why I don't like the passive income thing, because it encourages us to ignore our clients and not make our thing the best and just drive as many sales as we can. And that doesn't work for this system. If you do that, you're going to have to go and pump ads and do loads of other crap. And you're basically just a marketing company with a crap product, doesn't get results. The cool thing about this is, right, the proof that you get becomes part of your content, drives more people to your offer, which then shows more results on your sales page and your marketing, which gets them to convert, which then for you working on your product, making it better, gives you more proof, which goes into your content, which goes, and this just spins round and round and round. So what happens is you end up creating a system that grows your channel and your business by simply following these 4 steps. And you don't necessarily need much more. Now, I do this all the time. To give you an example of how well it's been working, we had about 200 people, I think it was more than 200, January and Feb, both months, applied for my program. We sold it out in, I think it's 6 days, both months. And 50% of the people who applied, we had to say no to because they're not the right fit. We can't help everyone. And then of the people who were right, we offered a space and 50% of them bought. Now, you might not know if 50% is good or bad. To give you an idea, about 25% conversion rate is considered pretty high for a program like mine. And I'm getting 50 because all I do is everything that I've just taught you. But the key is once you've got a few views, it's just the offer, the results and the proof, because it brings up your conversion rates and you don't need more views. The thing is, you got to get the first step of this circle working, otherwise nothing can work. We can't drive enough people to your offer. So if you want to learn how to do that so you can generate $1 million on YouTube, just watch this video next and I'll show you exactly how to get that done.